What's up everybody, Jared here with carbuzz.com, and today I am bringing you a review of the latest Volvo electric car. This is the 2023 Volvo C40 Recharge. We've already seen the XC40 Recharge, which is based on the gas-powered XC40, and you can think of this basically as the coupe version of the XC40, but it only comes as an electric vehicle that you can order online. So there is no gas-powered C40, and C is probably going to be the abbreviation that we see for electric SUV coupes like this one. So let's talk about the styling, because it is a little bit different than the XC40 on which it's based, but you can definitely tell that the two are family siblings. So here at the front end, we have a slightly different grille design than what you're going to get on the XC40 Recharge. You can see we have kind of this big body color element here on the grille with just a small opening down here. We've got Volvo's Pixel LED headlights in the Thor's hammer shape. I think it looks great, especially in this fjord blue. I hope I'm saying that right. My Swedish is not up to date, unfortunately. It's spelled F-J-O-R-D, very Swedish. It's about a $600 color option, and I think it makes the C40 look fantastic. I love the fjord blue. And we do have the ultimate trim level, which is the highest one. So we do get these slightly nicer 19-inch wheels than what you're gonna get on the base model. I think they look pretty cool. The rims are a little bit thick to me, but that's just my personal opinion. You might really like them. Here at the back, you can see that the roof is more raked than what you're gonna get from a XC40 Recharge, which is more upright here at the back. So we do have this kind of coupe-like roofline that is going to eat into trunk space just a little bit. You can tell that the Volvo sort of tall taillight design is a little bit different here. It kind of reminds me of old hatchbacks like the Volvo C30, which was one of my favorite Volvos of all time. So I do see a little bit of C30 DNA here in the XC40, or in the C40, sorry. We do have a little spoiler here on the back as well, which is kind of cool, with these kind of bumps here on the upper portion. It is a really unique look. We've got our C40 badge, and we've got our Recharge twin badge letting us know that it is electric and it is a dual motor. Just like other SUVs like the BMW X6 or GLE Coupe, you're gonna lose a little bit of trunk space when you opt for a C40 instead of an XC40. So you're gonna lose 1 cubic foot of space back here. It goes down from 16 in the XC40 down to 15 in this C40, which is not too bad, but when you fold down the seats, you're only gonna get about 49 cubic feet of space, whereas the XC40 gets you 57.5 cubic feet. So definitely something to consider if you're looking at the C40 versus the XC40. We do still have some cool Volvo features though, including this split trunk that you get on the Ultimate trim. So you just kind of lift that up like so. Now the trunk is divided so you can put objects behind that, and you get these really nice grocery hooks to hang your bags so they don't roll around. I love that feature. And in addition to the trunk space, you're also going to have a small storage area up here. It's definitely not massive because we do have an electric motor up here, but if you lift that up, you have plenty of room for your charging cable or some other small items. That's great so that you can always have the charging cable with you, but it doesn't take up your valuable trunk space. As for the back seat, it's not massive because the C40 is a subcompact crossover. That being said, it's not terrible. We've got this nice kind of suede and leather combination with really nice white stitching here. I'm gonna go ahead and step inside. And as you can see, I have a little bit of leg room left, not a whole ton. We do have air vents down here, which is nice. Does give this sort of a luxury feel, and we do have heated seats because we have the Ultimate trim. You also get 2 USB-C ports down here. While the legroom is okay, as you can see, the headroom is not so great, and you're definitely going to get more in the XC40. Moving up front, I did mention that we have kind of like a leatherish seat, but this is actually a completely leather-free interior. In fact, a lot of the interior has recycled materials that I'm honestly not a huge fan of. They've done a decent job making them feel a little bit more premium than they do in the Polestar 2, but there are a few areas where the materials don't quite feel like they belong in a $60,000 car. I love some elements like the blue carpets, which you can get black if you want, but I think the blue carpets, which appear here on the door, are absolutely awesome. I think they add such a nice pop of color into this interior. The seats are also super premium. They feel great. They're very comfortable. They have the little Swedish flag here on the seat, which I absolutely love. So those are ways that I think this feels incredibly expensive. But some areas like the dash just don't look or feel as nice. Now, the interior of this car, as I said, is kind of a mixed bag. What you'll notice is that everything is on, but I didn't have to hit a start button. Much like a Tesla, the C40 does not have a stop-start button. You just get in, move the drive selector to drive or reverse, and you're on your way, which is quite a nice thing. So we have a Android-powered infotainment system. It's really good, but I don't love this 9-inch screen. It looks kind of small by today's standards. You get a slightly larger one here on the Polestar, but the actual functionality of it is great. So you have Google Maps here. So whenever you put in a destination, it's going to tell you exactly how much range you're gonna end up with, which is quite nice. So if I go and look for a charger, it's gonna give me the local charging station because it's connected to Google, to the internet. So I'm gonna go ahead and navigate towards that. It's gonna tell me I'm 11 minutes away, 3.9 miles, and I'm gonna end with 65% battery. That is super useful when you're planning a long road trip on this car. The other thing that is really great about this infotainment system is that you can talk to it and it gives you incredibly good voice commands. Hey Google, what was the score of the Cowboys game last night?
The Cowboys won 27-13 yesterday against the Titans.
Well, that's unfortunate. But at least it did a really great job giving me that information just like a Google device in my home would do. So that is fantastic. I absolutely love this operating system when it works. I've had a couple issues with Apple CarPlay not connecting well, and you do need to connect that physically. It doesn't work wirelessly, but other than that, it's a great infotainment system. The other thing that I don't love is when I put it into reverse, the rear view camera is like a really weird kind of fisheye lens. It's really low res. You can put it on 360 mode as well, which is available on the mid-level C40 trim. But you can see even that is not the best graphics that I've seen. I've definitely seen some better graphics out there. We also have a very simple gauge cluster here. There's nothing too special about it. You can see we have our Google map there in the middle with our kind of charge power gauge here and our speedometer on the other side, and you can just click a button to get rid of that. So you can either have the map or not have it, and that's pretty much all you can do on that. I do like the feel of the steering wheel. It is quite nice. Everything else in here, like I said, is kind of a mixed bag. I wanted to mention that the sun visors kind of appear like a little crooked to me. Like, look, it's down and it's kind of like slanted like this. I don't know if it really comes off on camera, but it is just kind of weird. I don't know why. It kind of weirds me out. There's a few weird things like that. I do like that we have a big old volume knob, so you don't have to use like a touch slider or anything. Play pause is a big button, forward and rewind. We've got a wireless charger in here with 2 USB-C ports and a 12-volt outlet. We've got our cup holders here, and we also have this, which is a trash can. I absolutely love this. So you just have like a little lid. So here's my script. I'm all done with it for the video. Toss it in the trash can. I absolutely love that. You can see the storage is in here. You can actually remove this, and then you just kind of take off the lid here, and then you can empty out your trash from it. That is a fantastic feature. I also really love these black plastic pieces, which just look like kind of like a topography map, but at night they illuminate, which is super cool. We also have this little hook right here. So we have a pen holder, which is quite useful. And then we have this little hook. So you pop this out, close it, and now you can hang your purse or your bag or whatever right here. That is super clever. I absolutely love that. I wish every single car had that. And Last but not least, we have a full glass roof that just comes standard on the C40. I wish that it had a shade to close, but I live in Florida where the sun is really intense and I am very sensitive to sun, and I have not noticed it being super distracting. So if you're worried about that, I'm gonna go ahead and say this roof gets a pass from me. All right, so let's get the Volvo C40 out on the road, and it's gonna be pretty quick and easy to talk about the powertrain because there's only one way that you can configure a C40, at least in the United States. You have to get it with the twin motor all-wheel drive setup. It produces 402 horsepower and 487 pound-feet of torque. Pretty much the same drivetrain that you're gonna get in the XC40 Recharge, except this technically has one more pound-foot of torque. Not really sure why Volvo rates it that way, but that's what Volvo says on its website. And thanks to that one extra pound-foot of torque, you're gonna get from 0 to 60 a little quicker. 4.5 seconds in the C40, 4.7 seconds in the XC40. I'm not really sure why 1 pound-foot of torque makes such a big difference, but these are Volvo's numbers and I am just reporting to you what Volvo says. Now, 400 horsepower is a lot. That's like a lot of power for a vehicle of this size, but it doesn't feel that quick. I'm gonna go ahead and floor it right now. Woo. Yeah, it does get off the line pretty quickly, but you can tell that the throttle is a little lackadaisical. It's definitely not that type of throttle that you can just stab and, you know, pin your head back the way that you would in a Tesla or some other electric SUVs. And I think part of the reason is, I mean, A, Volvo doesn't want their customers to just, you know, break their spines. They are a safety company after all. But they really just didn't gear this as a sporty model. It's decently fun to drive, but it's not sporty. In fact, there's not even a sport mode. There's no launch control, no sport mode, nothing, which is why I just kind of did the launch the way I did. And I kind of wish there was a sport mode. Oddly enough, I rarely ever wish that SUVs, especially electric ones like this, had a sport mode, but I think it would just be nice to have just like a little bit of a sharper throttle tuning on this car. That being said, it's electric. Instant power, woo! When you floor it, you're gone. Tons of passing power. This has more power than pretty much anything else in its price point. I would compare it to things like the Audi Q4 e-tron, the Mercedes EQB, and the only one that's going to give the XC40 any trouble is going to be the Genesis GV60, because it can charge it at almost 350 kilowatts. It can have more power than the Volvo. If you opt for the performance trim, it is a little more expensive if you do that. But the thing is, all of those vehicles that I mentioned are going to be beating the C40 on range. So the C40 has a 78 kilowatt hour battery, only 75 of which is usable. Not the biggest battery. I mean, I guess it's around the same size as what competitors have. But Volvo only rates this, or the EPA does, at only 226 miles of range. It's 3 more than you get out of the XC40, but the reason why 226 just isn't quite enough is that you're really only going to charge it to 80% most of the time, and then you might struggle to get the full 200 miles out of it if that's the case. If you're going to 100, you'll probably be able to get 225, 230 miles out of it, but most people don't charge to 100%, so I think the range is just a little bit too small for what most people are going to reasonably use. Is it livable? Yes. Is it class leading? Not even close. It's actually towards the bottom. And the charging speed is not great either. Because this uses Volvo's old SPA2 platform, which also has gasoline engine cars, as exhibited by the gas-powered XC40, the charging speed on this is not great. It'll charge at 150 kilowatts. Volvo says you'll be able to get 80% charge from like 10 to 20% in about 37 minutes, and that's probably optimistic. You're probably going to be sitting for at least an hour, even if you can find a really fast charger. There are other vehicles in this segment, like the GV60, that can charge quicker than this. Even the Audi Q4, I believe, can charge at 155 kilowatts. On a 240, which is probably what you're going to do most of the time, 8 or 9 hours to a charge. So, you know, you get home after work, plug in, you'll wake up with a full battery, and it's not that big of a problem. Overall, the power is very impressive. There's very few competitors in this segment that have as much power as this, which makes this really fun to drive. The ride is good. The steering is actually quite nice. It's not super heavy, but it's definitely not devoid of feel at all. So this is a very entertaining car to drive, just like I thought the gas-powered XC40 was pretty fun to drive. But as we're about to see, I think it's a little expensive, so I'm not 100% sure if it's the electric SUV that I'd recommend. So that was the 2023 Volvo C40. Let's go ahead and price it. The base core model is going to start at $56,395, $1,750 more than the equivalent Volvo XC40 Recharge, so something to consider if you're cross-shopping the two Volvos. You can get the Plus trim for $1,550 more. It's going to add a 360-degree camera and fog lights. I think that's worth it for $1,500. So for $57,945, I'd probably at least get that middle one. But you probably want the Ultimate, which is $61,195, so $4,800 more than the base car. Gets you Harman Kardon audio, the Pilot Assist, adaptive cruise control, steering assist, all of that stuff. Heat pump, which is great if you live in a cold weather climate. Heated rear seats, also good in a cold climate. Power passenger seat, and the folding rear headrests, and a few other things. It's about $600 more than the fully loaded XC40 Recharge Ultimate. So if you're gonna step all the way up to the Ultimate, I think you're probably better off with the C40 and its slightly superior range. You're also gonna get 240 kilowatt hours, big whoop, of free charging. I've seen better deals from other companies, but I guess you could take advantage of that with this car. Is the C40 recommendable? It's a nice car. I really like a lot of things about it. I think the interior is very smart. I love the power. I think it looks great. But I think that the Genesis GV70 with its superior range and charging speed is probably going to be your best bet in this segment. You've got the Mercedes EQB, which offers a third row and is significantly larger in terms of cargo space than this. And then you've got the Audi Q4, which is more expensive, but offers a very comparable interior, albeit less power and similar charging speed, but a little bit more range. So this is a very competitive segment right here. And I really think that you might want to wait for the next generation of Volvo EV. As we've seen from the EX90, Volvo is adding 400 and 800 volt architectures, which is going to result in much faster charging speeds. The batteries are going to get better. They might even put a bigger battery in this as a stopgap between the next generation cars and this one. And I really think that Volvo should think about selling a single motor version of this car, whether or not they make it front wheel drive like the Polestar 2 or rear wheel drive, give it a little bit more range than it has, bring down that price a little, and then I think it would be a really compelling vehicle in this segment because there is a lot to like about it. So let me know what you think about the Volvo XC40 in the comment section. Would you buy one, or would you get the Audi, Mercedes, or Genesis instead? As always, leave a like, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell to be alerted of our latest videos. And if you want to read more about the Volvo C40 Recharge, be sure to check out carbuzz.com. I'll see you next time.